Hi, this is Dr. Miller of Healthy Mind Sacramento, and I'm here to talk to you about essential parenting strategies for parenting the ADHD child. Okay, so I'm going to tell you 3 key strategies that are key for when you have an ADHD child. I label these strategies as SAC, S-A-C, which is easy for me to remember because I live in Sacramento. But that stands for structure, accountability, and consistency, okay? And the reason all 3 of these are very important is because the child with ADHD has a hard time organizing his environment. And so you, as the parent, have to help increase the organization and the structure in his environment and put those things into place. Just so you know, in these examples, I'm going to be saying he when I talk about an ADHD child, simply because ADHD is about twice as common in boys than in girls. Okay, so let's talk about what SAC stands for. S is structure. Okay, so ADHD kids really benefit from having set structure and routines in their lives. This is usually pretty easy during the school week. Kids usually get up at the same time every day, go to school. It's good if after school can be structured too. So have a designated time that's scheduled for homework time. And then have a designated time that's scheduled every afternoon or evening as free time or play time, okay? So the child knows when they're supposed to be working on their homework, okay? Now, weekends can get a little bit unruly. Sometimes kids want to sleep in really late. Sometimes they don't have any scheduled activity, or if they're in a lot of sports, they could have tons of scheduled activities. I would recommend for the weekends, again, try and keep as many structured supports in place. This means encouraging the child not to sleep in really late, having a schedule as to when they're going to do some homework that's planned out in advance before the weekend, okay? That prevents the leaving it till Sunday night syndrome, so the kid knows in advance when during the weekend he's going to be doing his homework. And if the kid has any scheduled play date activities or sports activities, those can usually be put on a calendar that's on the refrigerator or somewhere where everyone sees them, okay? Okay, the A. A is accountability, okay? This basically means that you set clear expectations for your child and you hold him to them. This can be a struggle for some parents. Some parents say, oh, my kid's having a hard time in school. He's having a hard time with paying attention. And then I'm telling him to complete all his homework assignments and turn them in, and I feel kind of like I'm being mean or I'm being harsh, okay? The thing to keep in mind is your child's going to need to learn accountability at some point in his life, okay? It could be now, or it could be later in his life with a boss when he's a grown-up. Why not teach him accountability now as a child, gently, with you as the parent, okay? Then later in life with a boss and you don't know how he's going to learn that lesson, all right? So here's some examples of accountability. One example, you might say to your child, did you do your math problems from yesterday? And he goes, yes, I got them all done. Accountability, you say, oh, okay, I'd like to see that you actually did them. Always check. Turns out he didn't do them. Okay. Then you're going to say, okay, well, then you need to do today's math problems and yesterday's math problems too, since you didn't do them and you were supposed to, and you knew you were supposed to do them. Okay. Here's another example. Your child has a chore that he's supposed to complete every Tuesday. Let's say take out the trash every Tuesday. And he knows he's supposed to do that before his time in the evening where he plays games on his phone. And it's the evening, he's hanging out in his room, he's playing games on his phone, and you say, did you take out the trash? And he goes, oh no, I didn't get to it yet. I'm gonna just finish up this game, and then I'm just gonna do it afterwards. To hold him accountable, you would say, no, our agreement is you take out the trash, then you play the games on your phone after. after. So I'm going to ask you to put down the phone, take out the trash, and then you can get back to playing the games on your phone. Okay? So there's two key parts of this. And the first part is you need to set up clear expectations with your child as to what is expected of him. Okay? If your child doesn't know what's expected of him, then you can't hold him accountable. Okay? So it needs to be clear from the get-go. And then the second part is hold him accountable. So whatever those expectations are, then you follow through and hold him accountable for those expectations. Okay? The last part, C, is consistency. And this really has to do with consistency in parenting and across parents. Okay, so there's a lot of different parenting situations. Some people have two parents in the home. Some people may have a parent in the home and a grandparent in the home. Some people may be divorced and the child is spending time between the two separate households. In any of these situations, there's the potential where different adults may be sending different messages to the child. Okay? It is very important that the adults that are involved in raising the child hopefully can come to some agreement with the message they're sending the child in terms of parenting. Okay? So let's say one parent sends the message that you always need to do your homework before you can play your video games. Then the other parent does not abide by that rule. So then it kind of just depends what parent is around or what parent the kid is, whose house the kid's at, that it's swapping back and forth. And there's no clear rule for the child. Okay? That's a lack of consistency. And it's particularly confusing for the ADHD child who needs a clear structure in his life, who needs a clear message in his life, and needs that consistency across parents. Even for parents who are in the same house together, sometimes what we see is that one parent will have one type of way of parenting and another parent will not have that same level of structure and will not show the same parenting message. Okay? And it is very, very hard to parent an ADHD child in a way that gives them the effective level of structure, accountability, and support that they need if you don't have a consistent parenting message. So I really encourage you, whatever adults are in the child's life, to see if you can come together and work together to get consistent in your message. Okay, that's all for this week. Thanks. Check back in a couple weeks. I'm going to be talking about medications and ADHD.